So, picture this, the middle of Nairobi's insane traffic. A man who everyone thought was totally untouchable, well, his luck just ran out. And it ran out in the most brutal way you can imagine. This is the story of the end of Nairobi's ghost.
Okay, so listen to this. When 24 bullets are used to shut someone down, the message is always bigger than the man who died. I mean, wow, that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? An attack like that, it's not just about stopping one guy. No, it's a statement. It's a public execution, plain and simple, designed to send a message so loud and clear it terrifies everyone.
24. Just let that number sink in. 24. Because on June 22nd, 2021, right on the always jammed Thika Road, that's how many bullets ripped through a single car. In just a few seconds, a life was over, and a really notorious criminal career came to a screeching halt. All right, let's really picture the scene. It's just a regular afternoon, traffic is crawling along. Then a motorbike with two guys on it pulls up right next to a blue Subaru. And before anyone even knows what's happening, gunfire just erupts. This wasn't some robbery gone wrong. Nope. There was zero hesitation. This was fast, it was calculated, it was an assassination. And the target? A man named Daniel Gakumo, who the police had on their list as Nairobi's most wanted robber. So you have to ask, right? Who was this guy, Daniel Gakumo, and what on earth did he do to deserve an ending that brutal? I mean, an execution this public, this violent, it tells you he must have crossed a major line somewhere. So to really get why his time was up, we've got to understand the man they called the Ghost. So, to figure out how Gakumo's story ends in a hail of bullets, we need to go back, way back, to his beginnings. Because this guy had a long, and honestly, a pretty audacious criminal career where he just kept slipping right through the fingers of the law. Just look at the escalation here. It's wild. It all kicks off in 2014 with this bold lorry heist. Okay, but then, just 1 year later, he levels up, big time. And by 2017, his whole operation is so messy that his own wife gets arrested for carjacking. And get this, that's just a month before he tries to mastermind a bank robbery that goes completely off the rails. 50 million Kenyan shillings. Just think about that number for a second. That's how much the electronics were worth in that 2015 heist. We're not talking about petty theft here. This was a massive, massive operation. And a score like that, it doesn't just put you on the police radar, it puts you on everyone's radar. Okay, so with a rap sheet like that, you're probably wondering the same thing I am. How is this guy still on the streets? And that, right there, is the biggest puzzle of Daniel Gakumo's entire career. It wasn't just about the crimes he committed. It was about how he always seemed to get away with it. And this is where the problem becomes crystal clear. It was like a revolving door. For every single one of his major crimes, the pattern was exactly the same. First, he gets arrested. Then, he posts a pretty hefty bail. We're talking around 500,000 shillings. And then, poof, he'd just vanish. He'd jump bail, blow off his court dates, and the system would be forced to issue these arrest warrants that somehow never ever got served. The frustration got so bad that a magistrate eventually just threw her hands up and withdrew a case against him. Listen to what she said. How do you keep chasing a ghost when the system itself keeps letting the ghost slip through the cracks? The system just couldn't hold on to him, and that's exactly how he got his nickname, the Ghost. Because every single time the law thought they had him, he'd just slip right through their fingers. But, a pattern like that can't last forever. Something's got to give. So on that day, June 22nd, 2021, Gakumo probably thought he was setting up just another clean hit. A quick, in and out, an easy score. But there's that old saying, right? Every thief has their 40th day. Well, this was his. So here's how it all fell apart for him. Step 1, the target. It was a businesswoman in Eastleigh. Okay. Step 2, the mistake. His crew got violent. They shot the woman in the arm when she fought back. But step 3, this was the fatal error, the territory. They pulled this violent crime on the turf of one of Nairobi's most feared cops, a guy named Ahmed Rashid. And that mistake? It instantly triggered a massive citywide manhunt. And just like that, by pulling a violent job in the wrong part of town, Gakumo, without even knowing it, linked that final robbery directly back to that execution scene we started with. The hunter was now on his trail. And justice wasn't going to come from a courtroom this time. It was going to be delivered on the street. Yeah, it really didn't take long at all. With tips and intelligence pouring in from that Eastleigh robbery, the net just closed in around Gakumo. We're talking just a few hours later. As he was trying to make a turn near Ruer, his blue Subaru was spotted, it was cornered, and the hunt was over. So, that brings us right back to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If this wasn't some random act of violence, then who pulled the trigger? Who delivered this final brand of street justice?
Well, according to the human rights group Missing Voices Kenya, the triggermen on that motorbike were police officers. Think about that. The very system that Gakumo had danced around for years, they allege, was the one that finally handed down the verdict. Not in a court, but with bullets, on the side of a highway.
And this all leads us to the man whose turf Gakumo made the mistake of crossing, Ahmed Rashid. Now, this is a figure who sparks a lot of debate. To criminals in Eastleigh, he was an absolute nightmare. But to some residents, fed up with crime, he was a hero. Then you have human rights groups who saw him as a symbol of unchecked power. His methods were direct, they were uncompromising, and for Gakumo, they were final. So what's the big takeaway here? After all those years of slipping through every single crack in the justice system, Daniel the Ghost Gakumo's run didn't end in a courtroom. It ended on the pavement. He wasn't brought down by a judge and jury, but by a form of justice that was a whole lot faster and a whole lot more brutal.
And all of this leaves us with a really tough question to think about. See, the story of Daniel Gakumo isn't just about one criminal. It's about a system that, for whatever reason, just couldn't contain him. And it makes you wonder, when the official system of justice fails, what or who is going to rise up to take its place?